Ladies and gentlemen of the crypto space, we're live on a Monday, December 13th at 1:16 p.m. And boy, the markets want to go down. Macroeconomic conditions are more fragile than ever. We see very important and meaningful macroeconomists talking about yield curve flattening and dare we say the euro dollar curve flattening. And Jeff Snyder's talking about 23, 24, 25 and time horizons very much out into the future. And imminent pressure on the Fed to taper, as Stephen Van Meter talks about, and obviously we see the reaction in the equities markets as well as the crypto space alike. As much as we want to think the crypto space is detached or mutually exclusive to equity markets, we see the correlation. We see bearishness in the crypto space when there's bearishness in equity markets, and the and the like accordingly when it's going up. And it is what it is. Um, there's plenty of reasons folks choose to allocate capital in bullish and bearish conditions. Outperformance goes both ways, to the upside as well as the downside. There's plenty of reasons to want to buy and hold, hodling, bag holding, and all these terminologies that get thrown around, trying to or having an effect on the way we think about what we do with our time. In the end, when we engage with these markets, we're making choices and decisions, hopefully to achieve positive financial outcomes. It's not always the case. We can only make the best choices possible, the best decisions possible. Now, all these thoughts that I just presented to you are not necessarily the clearest because it's not easy to process and understand these markets. It's not easy to make the best decisions possible. But we're going to try, and that's what we've been trying for the last 2 years. Overall, all you need to do is make the best decision possible 51% of the time. If you're making better decisions than worse, you're going to do well over time. And that's where the concept of rational time horizons comes into the picture. And time in the market is better than trying to time the market, trying to time the tops and the bottoms, buy low, sell high. I don't have any time for that shit. Big Daddy's going to get off this stream today, and I'm going to go back to work because I work. I don't spend the vast majority of my time in these markets, and I'm not a full time YouTuber. I'm not a full time person where that kind of income is my job. I like to work. I'm an engineer, I'm a software engineer. So focus and what we do with our time allows us to pass rational time horizons, hopefully easier. That we shouldn't. If you find yourself consumed or overwhelmed with your capital allocation, you got too much capital deployed, or you have too much risk on, and that's not the optimal way to engage with these markets. You want to find a way to engage with these markets in such a way that you're not in discomfort. You're not frustrated. You don't have anxiety because you got to let years pass. The person that bought Bitcoin at $250 doesn't give a shit if it crashes to $20,000. And sure, the capitalist would say, oh, they should have sold at 60 and bought again at 20. Or back in 2017, they should have sold at 20 and bought at 3,000 at the beginning of 2020. Not all of us are capitalists, and I often say I'm not going to make as much money as possible, and I don't want to make as much money as possible. The things I want to talk about are how to have a sustainable way to interact with these markets. And that's not necessarily buy low, sell high. I'm not in this to make as much money as possible. I'm in this to be able to find a way to interact with it sustainably. And I do that um, I have chosen particular assets that I believe have a very meaningful narrative. When I could tell a story that makes a lot of sense, and I'm able to have a vision out 3, 4, 5, 10 years, that's where I want to hang my hat. That's where I want to park my capital. And sure, there's going to be ridiculous ups and downs, incredible volatility along the way. And all that means is time in the markets is greater than trying to time the markets for a person like me. I don't know if these were the clearest thoughts, but this is the ideas that I had when I wanted to start today's stream because I know everyone's going through some serious depreciation at this point on their portfolio balance. I haven't really been thinking about it. I've been working. I got to figure out some manifest complexities and the wrong Maven artifacts building today, and it's driving me nuts. I have I have a Gradle configuration I'm trying to figure out, and it's making me pull my hair out this morning. So in times like these, you retreat back into normalcy, back into work and family and stuff like that, and know that, as I've said 3 times thus far, time in the markets is better than trying to time the market. So, um, this is obviously my favorite asset, and it's a lot of people's favorite asset in the crypto space, and that's Curve. The chart, as always, tells the same story, and nothing has changed. Nothing has changed unless it goes below 40 cents. If it goes below 40 cents, then it's a different story. But right now, the story it tells is extraordinary, especially if it holds these price points uh, on a weekly time frame. So you have to zoom out. So I'll go over this chart real quick. I'm going to get to some commentary. I'm going to look at the spell chart because I'm pretty sure a bunch of folks are wanting to put in entries with the way Daniel is talking about folding Sushi Swap into uh, Danny Coin framework. With what is it? Joseph DeLong resigned from Sushi and the Sushi controversy. I think Sushi would be a heck of a protocol to really tie together the entire Danny Coin ecosystem. I mean, he's got so much ambition. I like the way he thinks. I like the way he talks. And from what I know, in brief conversation on whatever degree or however you would qualify the conversations or the interactions I've had with him, like him. I want to like him. I like his ideas. I like the way he thinks, and then I think that's reasonable. So Curve, we'll get the spell in a second, but let's not digress too much without hitting on Curve. Hyperinflationary decay, DeFi summer 1.0, DeFi summer 2020, 2021 stabilization, symmetrical triangle breakout, all-time high, retest of all-time high with a massive capitulation wick down to $2.70. Never broke the 50 SMA on the weekly to the downside. Never closed below historic triangular support. Thus, as the support flipped to resistance thus far. I really like this price point at $3.44. Was resistance for all of DeFi summer. We broke it so far at the end of 2021, and it has held as support for 1, 2, 3, going on, well, 3 weeks thus far, and we're the fourth week, and we're pushing below it right now. And we'll see, because it's obviously the beginning of the week. We have over 6 days left to see if this is a wick below the $3.44 price mark, or it goes and closes back above. If it closes back above, that's such a good sign. But in any case, um, there's two types of thoughts you have in a chart like this. Are you selling? Or are you trying to find an entry? And if you're trying to find an entry, you're going to want to wait for it to be as low as possible. I would stage purchases probably around historic trend formation to see if it resistance flips support, probably an intersection of the 50 SMA and uh, the historic trend line, so probably around $2.70. And dare we get down to previous support, so you could try and stage some entries around 220, 220, 230. If it falls below that, that's a bit of a fear zone. That's max pain. The type of thing we'll see where there's a blow off bottom, so to speak. We have blow off tops, but we could have blow off bottoms where it wicks significantly down below a previous significant trend formation or price point. Look, if it wicks down below, down to, let's say, right about here, come on, that would be a heck of an entry. And it would be also a triple bottom. 1, 2, 3. And that Derek close, could you imagine a wick below? Could you imagine a wick below historic support in that trend formation? It wicks below, it finds support there, and it closes on a weekly, like up here. That would be max pain. This is a great place to find an entry, and that would be a beautiful candle. Wow. That'd be an absolutely beautiful candle if it goes down there. Wicks below, closes there. These are speculative types of ways things will play out. For myself, how do I think about it? I don't know. My entire portfolio is at 40 cents. So, I'm just sitting through it, watching the insanity play out. I don't know if that's good or bad. Am I classifiable as a bag holder? Sure. Am I classifiable as a hodler? Sure. Am I hodling a productive asset? I don't know. Let's load up the page. I don't know. If I'm making $15,000, $20,000 a week, I don't really have to do much. So I don't know. And that's the narrative that that's what I hang my hat on. That a hodler is of a productive asset is very different than a hodler with hopes and dreams of XRP going to $500. And then what are you going to do with it? Oh, you're going to sell it. So you just hodled this shit for 5 years and now you're just going to sell it and not have it? That's the most ridiculous asset to have a long-term time horizon on. Because what are you going to do with it? You're going to sell it. You're not going to have it. A productive asset you're going to have, it's going to be freaking volatile, but it's going to be paying you day in, day out. Pays. So that makes it different. That makes it different this time. 2017, bearishness. Everything got sold. The assets paid you nothing. You got nothing for hodling. The bag holder got nothing. Except this time, the bag holder, the hodler, gets paid well. I mean, what do I have to complain about if Curve alone is paying like 4 or 5 grand a day? Oh, God forbid it goes down to 2,500. Oh, the horror, it goes down to 1,000. I'm grateful. I'm grateful and blessed that something could have a depreciative collapse, a depreciative cascade, and the worst after max pain and 80, 90% drawdown, I'm still making 1,000 a day. So that's how I justify my activity. I don't need to buy and sell, and I don't need to expose myself to capital gains. And it's not about tax. It's not about like I don't want to pay, and I just don't want to. I don't want to realize the gains. I don't want to maximize the profits. I want to have an asset that I could just hang my hat on and have a long-term time horizon and have a nice story to tell that, yeah, I bought this thing back in the beginning of 2020. No one really knew what it was. And the narrative was forming. The story was forming. I watched it go sky high. I watched it come down. And 5 years later, it's one of the hottest assets on the planet because it pays. That's the story I want to tell in 5 years. Not that I held it for 5 years and I got to sell it. It's not a story I want to tell. That's not a story to be proud of. That you bought Microsoft back in 2000 and you held it to now and you have worth 20 mil and then you sell it and oh you have the 20 mil that's inflating away and now you no longer have any damn Microsoft stock because you sold it all. So what do you have? You have nothing to show for it. Dollars. Yeah, there's something really great that you made dollars. You don't have any of the stock that you bought so early. But here you can have the asset that you bought so early. It prints capital along the way. And after the rational time horizon, not only have you been paid the entire time, but you still have the damn asset. That's a dividend bearing instrument. That's a productive asset. That is different. We'll get to the spell chart. Dan's in the house. Crypto, what's up, Captain? The market feels irrational. Can devs do something? Yeah, I like that meme too. What is it? Hard Rock Knicks floating around. Liv W. Hey, Noah. Yes, I enjoyed the weekend. I spent some time, did some stuff with some family. It was a good weekend. Smart 545. Good morning. Earens in the house. Risky Crypto Kingsley. Howdy. Thoughts about Ren H2H? I've had a Ren position since March 2020. I had my Ren position in ChaosNet prior to the release of their original platform. That's my thoughts on Ren. An entry price? I got no idea. For reference, my Ren position was at 5, 6 cents, give or take. Booster, Cap, your thoughts on Danny's proposal to take over sushi? Big deal. I like it. I like the way his brain thinks. Crypto bets, back to work, skipping lunch. I never take lunch, but yeah, back to work. Winter and trading, good morning. Kingsley, thoughts on Danny trying to acquire sushi is a big deal. Booster, Ohm's price is looking tasty with this step. Uh, what is a good entry? So the charts are all messed up because of the Ohm V2 swap that's coming in. Albeit with regard to, Ohm V1, look at that holding the 0.786, kind of turning into a bit of resistance depending on how you draw the chart. I wish I could get a weekly chart on the deck screener. But if that 0.7, this is a heck of a retrace. This is a massive, massive retrace. Now, we were just looking at the curve chart. So you can't really look at this chart from a retrace because it never had like a monumental blow off top. You don't have a clear up and then down. This is a very different asset than anything. Spell we could look at and we'll look at in a second, but this is a clear top to bottom where you can have a fib retrace. Top, bottom, 0.786. It's a massive retrace from its all-time high. I took a position. I took a position a little bit higher, probably about 490. I've been itching to take a position in Ohm. I took it a little bit off of Spell debt. I'll show you my Spell liquidity health in a second. But I'll tell you the percentage. I have about 4% in Ohm right now. About 4%, give or take. I took a little bit of debt to take on the Ohm position. Take a look at the health of that real quick. Got to make sure it's healthy. There's nothing to borrow. I would love to see Spell a little bit of borrowing capital. I'm 76%. I mean, literally, Spell can get crushed down to 0.003 cents. That's not going to happen in the short term. So there's the full retrace. That literally from the release price point, and it was a perfect bounce to the 0.786. And if anything, this looks like an inverse head and shoulders. So let's see how bearish the damn market gets, because if we dip below, if it dips below the neckline, so let's draw that horizontal line. So let's draw it right about there. So we want to see it stay above there on like the daily. Let's see what it looks like on the weekly, because I doubt no inverse head and shoulders on the weekly. But we want to see it stay above that green horizontal line, which is probably that's 1 penny. If it stays above 1 penny, I say the chart looks bullish. You can have bullishness in a depreciative market, in my opinion. Bullish bearishness, so to speak. That'd be a solid inverse head and shoulders if it stays above the neckline, which is a penny. We'll see how that works out. Obviously, this is a very painful chart, especially for folks that bought it at almost 4 pennies. But it's a full retrace down to the 0.786, so it's been massive depreciation. If anything, this is a chart where entries are to be taken, where you want to find where the opportune entry is. I mean, it prints how much money? Literally, the asset, this is a depreciating asset that prints something that's superior to DAI and MakerDAO. It's printing 137% more money than MakerDAO, and it has a market cap of 43.88%. And TVL is about less than, it's 20%, 20 and change percent, the TVL of MakerDAO. So it has less TVL, less market cap, and it prints more money. It has more cash flow. Smaller than DAI, smaller than USDC, smaller than USDT. Nothing about the abracadabra narrative is invalidated. If anything, the entire market is just bearish. This asset just looks ridiculous. Where's good entries? Probably down at a penny. We're at about 11.6 cents right now. So that's almost a 20% dip to the downside from here. So, for traders, you could set limit orders down to the penny. I mean, considering how bearish the markets are, If it gets down to the 0.786 again, about 0.8 cents, a fraction of a penny, 0.8 cents. We'll see. Who knows where bottoms are? I don't like to chase bottoms, boys and girls. And I don't really like to try and find entries. I'm happy I bought so long ago. I got lucky I bought so long ago that I don't really have to chase entries and I don't have to think about selling. And that's the way I take care of the markets. I don't like to think about buying. I don't like to think about selling. I'm happy and honored and blessed that I was able to take positions when I did and I took the risks that I took. Because now I don't have to. Now I get to sit back and relax and watch the insanity of this price action, the insanity of irrational market actors drive an asset up to 3.8 cents and watch it crash down to its current price point. I can watch all this unfold because I was able to take entry at such a low position. That was my entry, give or take, 0.00. My entry is down here, 0.006. And look at the liquidation price, 0.00. Oh no, I'm sorry. My entry was 0.0006. Yeah, down here, 0.0006. 0.03. So my liquidation price on my debt position is here. I should probably add some capital, add some S-Bell to get it up to get liquidation down to here, 0.002. Because this looks, if anything, this is a heck of a price action region of support. I mean, that'd be brutal. That's brutal. That's pain to the downside. But look where it went from. Look where it came from. That the 0.786 is up here. Oh my God. 0.008 cents. It was down low. Um, so that was Booster's question. Own price and getting an entry. I don't know. We have no idea where bottom's going to be. We could have extreme bearishness. I told you guys in the past. I remember giving streams back in the day in 2020, where used to tell you guys that these markets will take your money and they'll take it quick. Look at this. Someone bought at $1,400 in October, November, December. I mean, that's pretty painful. The market will take your money. But whoever bought home at $200 with all the yield and all the asymmetric the compounding returns of the protocol, they're sitting pretty at $400, 100% profit on the position, but the amount of returns they've had between then and now, extraordinary opportunity getting in back then. And I remember talking about Ohm. I didn't fully appreciate it nor understand it, and I'm happy to take a position now. I think it's one of the more meaningful protocols in the crypto space. Definitely pushing the edge of what it of what the potential is of innovative monetary policies, treasuries, and bond issuance. So it's metaphoric, but is it? That's what's interesting. Is it metaphoric? Because whatever it is, it's novel. Can it go lower? Absolutely. Can we get price action support down about there? Of course. 360, another $100 to the downside. Maybe we'll hold the 0.786 and we'll wick down to 360 and we'll have a weekly close above the 0.786. That would be interesting. But the market's bloodthirsty. It'll take your money and it'll take it real quick. Ain't that the truth? Liv, how long have you been a software engineer out of curiosity? 2009. It's been 12 years. Raul, hello. Crypto bets. Any thoughts on LQDR? I don't know of it. I'd have to look into it. Maybe today. Polish. Hey, Noah, long-time watcher, first-time commenter. You're the reason I can sleep through this market dump. I hope so, my friend. I hope my ideology and my words help a little bit. Um, it's different this time. It's not different this time. What's pertinent is we have at least a different story to tell this time. It's certainly a different story. It's not as clean cut and dry as the crypto detractors would argue that crypto is nothing, crypto is meritless. There's so much meaning in these assets from just the people who are making it. These are not just these are not just software devs. These are software devs that have a capacity to deploy a monetary policy with very well thought out properties. This is not trivial. I don't care how decorated and how educated the macroeconomist or the professor or whoever the hell has a voice against crypto, like anyone. I don't care. I don't understand why they would be so against software development and the creation of novel monetary policy. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand how Peter Schiff calls it worthless. It doesn't make any sense. Things have worth because people want it. There's a reason why people want Bitcoin. It's the reason he doesn't understand. That's clearly a reason millions of people around the world do understand. So I don't agree with people like that. Doesn't make any sense to me. Charlie G's in the house. A pleasure. Alex, where do you get your alpha? I create my own alpha. I live and breathe alpha. My middle name is Alpha. I don't know all the shit that's going on. You guys bring protocols to me all the time that I have no idea. I've never heard of. But I also I know of a lot, and I have a very concentrated portfolio. It's not extremely diversified, especially as diversified as it used to be historically. Oh, my bandwidth is horrible today, guys. I'm sorry. If my bandwidth drops, I'm sorry. I might cut the stream if the bandwidth completely dies. But we'll see how long we can keep the stream going. 94 people in the stream, 20 likes. We can do better. Charlie Edwards, it's a pleasure. Spike XRP to the moon. I hope it goes up. But I really feel bad if it goes to like a couple $100 and someone makes like 5 mil and then they literally have to sell their assets because selling the assets is going to drop the price and now they literally just held XRP for years and they sell it. Like what? You literally just held something because you love the idea and you love the narrative, you love the story so much, and you're not going to have it anymore. That's kind of a shitty asset to hang your hat on. I want to have an asset that I never have to sell. And that's a different narrative. That's a different story. Got rid of my XRP for six figures back in 2017. You probably did good because XRP hasn't been doing well, and I'm happy you made some capital gains. I am. It um, you know, you no longer have it. And that's kind of the sad thing about assets that have no productivity, that are not productive assets. You literally have to sell them and you no longer have them. Try my best to buy a big bag of CVX and lock in full term for bribes. Sure. So CVX, of all the assets, uh, wow, that is a bearish engulfing candle if I've ever seen one. Um, but it still isn't below the neckline, so I can't necessarily say the inverse head and shoulders is fully invalidated yet. It's still above the guppies, and look, the guppies are is wicking. That's pretty cool. But considering the bearishness in the markets, it's holding up pretty well. You don't have lower lows, and this is on the daily. Dare we go out to the weekly? I mean, this is a heck of a chart for a weekly chart, and this blow off top, that was the Moki madness. So that's completely, you don't even have to look at it. Now, where did Tetranode? Tetranode took a position back here. So Tetra's still underwater a little bit. He's underwater a little bit, unless I doubt he liquidated or anything. So he's underwater. We'll see. I don't know when to take entries because the market could keep going down and go down and go down until everyone's crying, and that's when a market reverses. A market reverses when the last person fears it's going to keep going down, has sold their position, and has given up. And that's when the market decides to go back up. And that's what happened in March of 2020 when Bitcoin had its blow off bottom down to 3,000. Heck of a chart we got there. Um, Alpha, hello again. Sean, is 25K enough, or will I be wrecked by gas? It's not the easiest choice. Gas right now, 120 Gwei. You're probably talking about 75 to $100 transaction fees for pretty much everything. Um, you're going to want to find a concentrated position, and you're going to want to let it sit. Um, so you're going to want to be careful also. So um, sit and wait for a bottom, or maybe set limit orders. Um, Depends on what you're looking for. Depends. You know, convex, set a buy order down at 19. If it hits, it hits. Set a buy order down at 11. I mean, it was so much easier if you were buying down at 3. So that's I remember those. People didn't think it was going to do anything down at $3, but then it just ripped to the upside. Spike, I agree. Sean, anyone have any min USD amount for CRV, CVX due to F gas? More the better. It's not really a clean cut, dry number, and you'll only know in hindsight if you made good decisions. You can only evaluate how well you did from the future perspective looking at your past actions. Um, Roberto, LJ, I hope Blizz and Geist, I hope they do too. Still give some put to other cryptos. 100% invested. No stables. I'm 100% invested too. But I've been in for years at this point, guys. I've got positions dating back to 2016, right about now. I got masternodes running since 2016. So, time in the market beats timing the market. Um, I hope Blizz guys. I haven't even been looking at them. They've just been completely obliterated. Still prints a little bit. I'm not. I shouldn't be complaining. 19 cents, 746, 261 in die. $142 a day in platform fees. So if platform fees hold up to any meaningful degree, what do we got? $1 billion. I mean, it literally has $1 billion deposited. That's a heck of a deposit. So, listen, you want to know the truth? Who am I to complain? $142, that's an entire salary at some sort of physical labor job, entire retail salary. I shouldn't be complaining. Albeit I probably put 100 chip in there. So that's down significantly. Geist out of Blizz. We'll take a look at Blizz. Blizz has probably been hit harder because it produces a lot more revenue. 22 cents, 713, make about 400 bucks a day. This thing's been hammered. Anyway, no, that's a lot of capital loss. We got a lot of capital loss going on over there. Anyway, that was the speculative 1% position. We said, be very careful. Those are hyperinflating assets. I hope no one did more than a hot 1%. 1% to 10% changes everything, boys and girls. Do not take speculative positions greater than 1%. You don't need to. That's how you get capital taken from you, especially considering these macroeconomic bearish conditions. Rocco Reed, what's awesome about staking large amounts is that over time the principal goes through the roof, while the staking rewards have much less of an impact on value. Well, you're obviously defining a narrative, and that's everything. That's everything. Define your own narrative. It doesn't have to be what I say. Clearly, the words of wisdom that I say, you know, they're rational ideas, so therefore, it's good to use them. But define your own narratives, create your own words of wisdom, and be able to tell a story. That's all that matters. Metal Bum LFG, my friend, it's a pleasure. What's up? Daniel is very smart. He is extremely impressive. Understand no capital gains. That's why I moved to PR so I could avoid it. I'm cash and chill, other than curve and spell. My man, Puerto Rico, baby. I like it. Quantified. Hey, Noah, now sitting in CVX CRV. Time, Galanode, Blizzard Stables, looking for a spell entry. Loving being an incumer. Aren't we all? Entries. Not easy, but I hope you get a good entry. May the odds forever be in our favor. Somebody will get a better entry than someone else. Somebody will get the best entry. Maybe nobody gets a good entry. You'll only know in hindsight whether you got a good entry. So don't beat yourself up over it. Time in the market beats timing the market. Daniel, hi Noah, enjoy your show. I remember you're talking about how CVX was a platform for protocols and you did not have a position. What made you change your conviction to hold a CVX position? It's bullishness, meaning it was just holding up in price so well compared to the rest of the market. I didn't take a large position. I'll tell you guys exactly the size of it. It's 4.5%. So, food for thought on my position size. Just be very considerate. Folks will out there just take 30% positions in random shit. Like, for the love of God, you don't take a 40%, 30% position in Geist and Blizz. I didn't even take a 30% position in Convex. I've never taken a 30% position, I don't think. 5, 10% positions, but 1% positions in speculative risk on plays. You probably should wait till the show that gets confirmed. Of course. Liv, how do you feel about your AVX JLP? I don't have any AVX JLP. I don't have any Popsicle LPs. I don't have any stables currently. I have my positions, and that's about it. And I'm going to stick by them and tell the story that I've been telling you guys. And in 5 years' time, if everything is all glorious, then I'll have the best stories to tell at the dinner table. That I had conviction, I told a good story, I defined the rational time horizon, and I stuck with my positions. Adrian, good evening, a pleasure. Risky, Sporos, Sup fam, Vasco, what do you think about 100 Finance? No idea. Patrick, Sheets link in the Ohm calculator. Is there an Ohm calculator? Haven't even noticed that. Ohm 2.0 is rolling out, so there's a whole lot of stuff going on in the user interface. And SBEL is getting sold off for GOM because people that own it just really, I don't know why the hell they're doing anything. They should have just waited. So dashboard's all messed up, and the percent yield is like, I don't know. This thing's just been printing like 3 ohm per rebase. Like, hello. Cash flow ignores fear. You can ignore fear. You don't want to completely ignore it, but you want to be considerate of it, and be respectful of it, and know its limitations. It's information, but it's not the most important information. Rocco bought the XRP at 0.005. No worries. Great position for others that I'll hold. Yeah, man. If you got early entry, time in the market beats time in the market, and the asymmetrical potential for XRP is monumental. When the SEC case, if it comes back good, XRP is going to go completely vertical. So from a capital gains trade, from a capacity to buy low, sell high, it's a ridiculous asymmetric potential position or asymmetric potential play. I just don't want I don't want a spec play from that I have to sell and experience capital gains. So don't. I never said anything about XRP being necessarily uh, a bad trade. If anything, like I like the way Raul talks about it. It's probably one of the largest asymmetric trades or potentially asymmetric trades available in crypto right now because of the SEC lawsuit. If that comes back good, it's going completely vertical. I just have no interest in watching something go 100x to have to sell it and not hold it. I'd rather make 20% per year the rest of my life. Liv W. Sifu from Wonderland Treasury picked up quite a lot of CVX. Yes, indeed. I saw that as well. And so did Wonderland. Wonderland bought CVX with the Treasury, not just Sifu, because Sifu did it himself, I believe, for his account, but also the Wonderland Treasury as well, to my understanding. No, any interest in Terra Luna? Yeah, it's a big deal. Not something that I'm exposed to, but I like Do Kwon. I like the way Daniel talks about it. I like the way UST is interacting with the Abracadabra platform. I like the I like the narrative of UST and Luna. I like everything. I believe stablecoins that are CDP and algorithmic are a big deal. And I believe also that centralized stablecoins that are dollar backed are a big deal also. I think it's all a big deal. I'm very excited about the crypto space. The price action is mutually exclusive. This is some big deal stuff. Don't let the price action tell or try and convince you that this isn't some serious shit. Literally on the forefront of stuff that the most vast majority of people in society don't even talk about, yet alone understand. And I sure as hell don't even understand everything. Smash the likes, guys. 106 people in the stream, 40 likes. We can do better. Charlie Edwards, love the 1% speculative plays. Yeah, spec plays. Not too much risk. 1%. It's all good. You, folks take too much risk. And it's harder with smaller portfolios. And there's no shame in just stable coins. There's no shame at 20% interest. There's no shame in working for your money and saving it because at 20% interest, you're unfucking yourself from legacy finance and you're beating the shit out of the bank account. Rationality is what counts. Doing things different is what counts. And stable coins at 20% is doing things different. Doesn't mean you have to gamble and be a degenerate. You can do things and do it rationally. That's what's exciting about this crypto market compared to the last ones. What are your thoughts on Moki off my radar? Um, no, when you say 1% position, is that 1% of your entire net worth or 1% of your crypto portfolio? Just crypto portfolio. Any thoughts on bank capital? Yeah, hyperinflationary decay. I don't like, they need something. Otherwise, they're missing definitely some secret sauce because right about now, their assets just going to keep going down in price. Rocco, to clarify, I can be seven figures down on a coin, but the stake rewards don't change much in value. That's what matters, Rocco. The yield. So if you put 100 grand into something and it turns into a million and it turns back into 200 grand and you made $200,000 in yield and income over the year that it was that volatile, that 200 grand's a heck of a year of income. And you have no capital gains on the original position. You pay the income tax, sure, but what are you doing with work? You pay an income tax. I like the notion of paying the income tax rather than the capital gains because that means I'm not a trader. That means I have businesses, and then businesses are making income. And that's the narrative that I like to tell, that I saw that I could model these assets in the crypto space as businesses that I could put on the balance sheet, businesses on the balance sheet that produce positive cash flow. The model is what's exciting. That's a heck of a story to tell. I'm going to wrap up the stream in a couple of minutes. Action theory UST provides 20% cash flow, winning in a bear market and maintaining income streams. Yeah, and if you get Cauldron space on Abracadabra, you could leverage that cash flow probably up to 100%, give or take, to my understanding on how that Cauldron works. Not that I'm exposed to that. Mitchell, first time in the live stream, you hear about Daniel and Zeus, little spat. Well, it's not just recent. That's been going on for quite a while. Ludwin, sorry if you've been over this before, but I just started watching your channel. What are your thoughts on Klima? Off my radar. Rocco, are you still contributing to Digibyte? I talk with them and I have an advisory role, and I know all of them, and I like them very much as people and as technology creators. I don't think it's a rational investment though, because you'd have to buy low and sell high. It's not a productive asset, so it has no business being on the balance sheet. If you're a trader, go trade. Nothing I talk about ever is from a trading perspective, though. So it has no business on a business balance sheet. Sure, it probably has significance for a trader, but a trader doesn't have a balance sheet. A trader's in and out of trades extremely quickly. The Gospel of Noah. Mike, it's a pleasure. It's not gospel. It's just my brain and the way my brain thinks and the way my brain is connected to my mouth and the way my mouth doesn't shut up. My wife says I like to hear myself speak. I think she's right. Any thoughts on strong nodes? I got no comment, Nick. Let's wrap it up. Monday, December 13th, 2:01 p.m. I'm happy I got a stream out to you guys today. I was a little busy this morning, but obviously the market is extremely volatile, so you guys needed some support, some reassurance, some rationality on a very irrational day. So stay rational, my friends. It's always a pleasure. Tell everyone to subscribe. After party on Discord, and I'll see you again either tomorrow or Wednesday. I wish you guys a good one. Peace.